Johnny Depp's name is synonymous with films. Hardly anyone could deny that. Love him or hate him, the actor's been in the limelight for several reasons, but his celebrity really took off when paired with another icon of pop culture, Fantastic Beasts. However, not all publicity is good publicity, and that's true for Fantastic Beasts too, whose cast changes around the character of Grindelwald became the center of controversy for off-screen reasons rather than for the film itself. Let's take a look at the reasons behind this shuffle-up. Firstly, on the heels of the second film's underperformance, the third film merited changes. It's true the second film, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, had caused a shadow over future plans for this part of the wizarding world. It didn't help that the film universe was still in the shadows of its famous HP counterparts. Nevertheless, it's unsure if The Crimes of Grindelwald's underperforming lands squarely on Depp's portrayal. Depp's always been the perfect candidate for fictional characters with a dark, loony vibe. Famously, his successful collaborations with Tim Burton really played well with audiences and became the stuff of pop culture legends. So it's also worth remembering that Depp's career has been full of these character roles. He'd also previously played Grindelwald twice already, and maybe he's tired out. After all, no matter how good you are at something, if you get too good, you're liable to accusations of making it look too easy. Moreover, libel and accusations were two big factors in the cast changes. Johnny Depp's public image had an uncanny resemblance to the villainous fictional character on screen. The divorce proceedings with Amber Heard and the undertone of domestic violence weren't helping his image. Warner Brothers, the producer for the film, didn't like associating the franchise and its own brand image with even a hint of wrongdoing. Production companies also rely on the audience's perception of their off-screen work. Corporate social responsibility arguably doesn't leave any winners. It does leave losers, however, and when you lose the social responsibility game, you lose big. It snowballs into a lasting image change for the brand, its products, and its future aspirations. Needless to say, severing ties with Depp was a short-term loss to avoid a bigger loss. Thirdly, Mads Mikkelsen's fresh portrayal was chilling to the bone and warmed up the franchise's fortunes. Mikkelsen's actually a good actor, coming off his representation of well-known villains from playing the titular lead in Hannibal to being the main villain in Doctor Strange. Moreover, as pointed out earlier, Depp's made a career out of playing villains in noir, dark black comedies. A lot of them were so good they've left a lasting impression on his huge fan base. It's hard to come off the flashy coattails of Sleepy Hollow or Edward Scissorhands and into the more somber shoes of a character like Grindelwald. On the other hand, Mikkelsen's portrayal was appropriately mean and understated, perfectly suited to the requirements of the character. The charming ruthlessness and sinister depth brought by Mads Mikkelsen was considered the perfect foil to Depp's more in-your-face, power-wielding Grindelwald, which was unfortunately too reminiscent of another villain from the wizarding franchise, Voldemort. However, the latest developments have indicated another shakeup for the franchise. Here's a whisper of a potential cast rotation from the horse's mouth himself. Mads Mikkelsen recently hinted at the return of Johnny Depp to the franchise in the aftermath of the latest developments off-screen. Firstly, the defamation case between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp revitalized his positive image. Johnny Depp's resignation from the role initially was in great part due to the negative press of the divorce proceedings and the abuse allegations against him. Following his 2020 libel case loss against The Sun, the clouds were looking particularly dark and grim for him. But who's Johnny Depp if he's not absolutely at home in a dark villainous character? The actor, known for being the barber of Fleet Street and numerous other adaptations of faulty yet lovable characters, came back again in a court case against Amber Heard. The court found the case widely in Depp's favor, and the decision to make the trial proceeding public only gave him a boost of publicity and well wishes from his fans. All of this was compounded by Mads admitting to the possibility of a behind-the-scenes change in cast. Mads Mikkelsen, on Depp's fanbase, being mad about his return. Mads cited Depp's stardom as another reason for his potential return. His dismissal, or forced resignation, has been widely considered an injustice by his fans, whose impassioned pleas to restore Depp have also extended to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. It's still unconfirmed whether the changing tide will result in more roles or cast more drama over Depp's serious craft, but it's definitely bound to pose concerns for the production companies. Adding to Mads' concession were the still stalling fortunes of the franchise. The franchise, already beset by certain negative critical reviews earlier in the first two franchises, couldn't hope to coast on Mads Mikkelsen's acclaimed portrayal of Grindelwald alone. Compounded with the sense of injustice spreading among the fanbase, it's likely that the future performance of the franchise will suffer as Depp's fanbase decide to stage boycotts of future films for the reason of Depp's dismissal alone. In other words, it just isn't worth pushing for from a business point of view. So it definitely makes sense for the production to restore some order to the universe and correct their slight, at least to allay potential audiences. Bringing back a sense of continuity would be a challenging trick to pull off for several reasons, but it might help gain back all those followers of the franchise franchise looking to witness a triumphant return to the big screen for Johnny Depp. After all, when the dust settled, the actor who was previously considered to be washed up following his divorce is really given a new lease on life, and the masses love an underdog story. Depp's return is no mean trick. It's actually miraculous under the circumstances and a great story in itself. However, playing Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts 4 might not be the ideal return vehicle for Depp. Let's discuss the glaring problems first, and with it, the absurdity of a franchise changing lead actors for the same character twice over. First, back to the basics. The big screen is now all tinted with reality. Movies are a fictional medium. Their value depends on their distance from real life. The further away, the better. Calls to return Depp to the main screen will all but shatter the illusion of fiction and make it that much harder for an actor to distance his performance from the real world. Not only that, the film screenplay will draw unfavorable comparisons to the real-world drama around it. Depp, too, as an actor, would be better off avoiding such a pitfall because it would not only affect his portrayal but also the reception of his character. As an actor, Depp has shown himself to put his vision for the character first. No matter if you find any of his portrayals cartoonish or hammy, you definitely wouldn't find them half-hearted. He's disclosed his passion for films, and it would be a tough sell for him to compromise on his craft. Secondly, the film's undergone 3 different Grindelwalds already. The role was initially reprised by Colin Farrell, who was revealed at the end of the first film to be a masked Johnny Depp. Wizardry indeed. This was a smoother transition than the turbulent replacement of the character by Mads Mikkelsen for the third film. It'd be a hard sell to bring back Depp without deviating from the world building and completely unmasking the careful portrayal of the character by Mads Mikkelsen. Each actor plays their character differently. The same actor can have multiple shades, but covering a painting with multiple layers of paint can only distort the final product. In this case, the character is smeared by 3 strokes, each distinctive, each layered. Any more brush strokes and the canvas risks being torn up for sure. Furthermore, the decision lies not with the audience, but with Depp and Warner Brothers themselves. Most interviews and disclosures post-Depp's resignation show the split between Depp and the studio to be sufficiently amicable. He was asked to resign, and he accepted without much delay. Whatever the backroom negotiations may have been, the studio and Depp have respected their NDAs and show no signs of ill-boding in the press. However, for the studio to bring in Depp now would indicate some culpability, which is bad press and perhaps unnecessary. It's an added risk to cave into popular demand when popular demand is shifty and changes with the tide. In short, a film is bigger than an actor, and an actor is bigger than one film. The breadth and depth of Depp's filmography stand on their own, as do Warner Brothers and its directors and actors' visions for this particular franchise. It would be an insult to either to mix the two, which is why we just don't see Depp's return as happening at all, and perhaps that's for the best of everyone involved. For now, that is all. If you liked the video, please press the like button and tell us what you'd like us to cover in the future. Until next time.